Welcome to BitBoy Crypto.
We can't let anybody else find out who we are. My eyes are up here. I personally would not advise that strategy. Bugs Bunny or Tweety Bird, how to make money in crypto.
Oh, you're killing me.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, where we exclusively rant for money. Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, the People's Channel, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. No channel rants harder to keep you in the know about crypto than this one right here. One things are clear. People love the rants. We got that from the poll yesterday. My wife actually took a bunch of screenshots of the chat yesterday with some really good ideas. They say we should have a blood pressure meter. When I'm rating the blood pressure meter, it goes up, 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 up. They also want a live blood pressure reading on the show. Can we do that? We can have Allison come do that one day. Would that be successful? TJ's still out today. We thought he was going to be back today, but still recovering from his surgery. He said he had some problems sleeping last night. That'll do it. He's got a neck brace on. So you guys are going to love that. TJ in a neck brace. I love it. I'm excited about it. Are you excited about it, Frank?
Yes. I think TJ could sport a neck brace pretty good.
Yeah, he looks... We should show that picture of him with the neck brace on. He looks high as a kite. Like he just got out of surgery. He looks like... So, all right, guys. Well, welcome to the show. My name is Ben. Every single day we come to you live, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is Wednesday, July 27th. We got big news coming today from the Fed meeting. Some stuff coming out about housing market. I don't think we're going to get into it too much, but I just saw somebody I know, a realtor, said, well, here goes the housing market. So something has happened in the last 24 hours. Maybe somebody knows a little bit more about that. Bring on shirtless man. Yeah, we talked about doing the show shirtless at this point. We may have to, show you where the beach is at. You know what I'm saying? But it won't be the first show I've done shirtless. Maybe we should bring back the Cupid costume. We'll see how it fits these days. But guys, we're at 1.45 million subscribers here. Don't forget to check out our other channels. Let's see. Do we break 200 on our BitBoy Espanol channel? Let's see. Almost 197. So if you want to watch in Spanish, you can check that out. It's just our nightly videos right now and our scripted videos. BitBoy Bits, Frankie Candles, hit 22K, hit Network, Meta Money, and NFT Alpha. Wow. I mean, Frankie Candles moving up the list here pretty quick. What about that fan art yesterday, Frank?
Oh, that was pretty cool.
It's pretty wild.
Somebody Ant Arts NFTs made an NFT of me. It was awesome.
It's cool to see Frank getting his due. We love that. Don't forget, we do have our Hit Merch giveaway going on right now. If you guys go follow Hit Merch on Instagram, you guys can go check out the post for the giveaway. As you guys know, we do have the coolest merch available. And some people were saying, like, what is going on with... Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Allison. No, your hand did not make it to the show today. I'm sorry, Allison. Next time, Allison. Make sure to wear a pretty ring or something. Guys, if you come here and go to jerseys, you guys can see we do have the XRP Army jersey here going. Only $50 for that. We've got the Cardano. Do we take the Cardano one off? Yeah, we did. Yeah, well, they don't like the ADA gang. They hate the word ADA gang. We got an Ethereum one. We got the Meta Money jersey. So you guys know these are two of our best sellers right here. Of course, we got the XRP Army one going on as well. So let's check out Twitter. I had some tweets yesterday, some pretty good ones, I think. We did pick our winner for NFT Expoverse. We did have somebody that was able to get those tickets. So congratulations to them. Let's see here. What if I told you Bitcoin is just doing the exact same thing it does every 4 years and all the rest is just noise? People seem to relate with that. That is definitely true. And guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Number one thing you can do as a member of the BitSquad to help out the channel, to get more people to see these videos, to get more views on the videos. So Lark put this yesterday about Ethereum. As you guys can see, I believe we are starting to see the beginning of the flipping as we head towards the merge. A lot of people finally starting to get bullish about what is going on there with Ethereum. Good news. So much going on with there's your fan art.
Oh, there it is.
Right there. There it is. So much going on with John Deaton right now. Like this guy, I made this comment. I said, John Deaton is slowly becoming or achieving legend status. And everybody's like, he's already a legend. Well, yeah, but he's just continuing to push. Nobody is out there fighting harder on behalf of the XRP holder than John Deaton. You got to give this guy his due. He's been on the show several times. Definitely a friend of the channel. And the stuff he is uncovering is extremely damning towards the SEC. So not only is he fighting on behalf of XRP holders, he's fighting against the SEC. And man, I tell you what, some of the stuff coming out about Gary Gensler. Okay, I tap out. Aliens are definitely real. Some of the stuff coming out with Gary Gensler is just so incredibly damning. This right here, Gary Gensler failed to register his family investment fund in the state of Maryland. So you're starting to see this guy talking out one side of his mouth, never living up to what is good and what is right. Absolutely one of the biggest crooks in all of politics, dirty Gary Gensler. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. And tomorrow, by the way, we got Blockchain Backer on tomorrow. Today we have the founder of Valhill Capital on Talk XRP a little bit later in the show. But we do have Blockchain Backer coming on tomorrow for TA. Just so you guys know, I'm leaving tomorrow after our TA section with Blockchain Backer. I guess you're going to finish the show, Frank?
Sure.
You or DZ, or both, combination thereof. I'll be finishing the show tomorrow. I'll be out in LA on Friday, so they'll be taking over the show on Friday. Gary Gensler versus Ben on Jake Paul undercard. I would fight that man in a second. In a second, I would fight that man. He's a biter. So I would definitely fight Gary Gensler. I would have no problem doing that in official capacity, of course. We'll never, cheap shot him outside the ring. But they want to see BitBoy versus Carl in the octagon. Look, guys, I love Carl. I like Carl a lot. He's a good person. I know some of y'all give him some flack, but he generally means well. But Carl, I'm really sorry you would not last in the ring versus me. I'm really sorry about that, Carl. I don't know many crypto YouTubers that would, but there are some. There are some that could probably give me a black eye maybe. All right, so let's look at the markets here. We got 20,374. We're gonna have that futurist discount code for you guys, by the way, tomorrow on the show. I just tweeted out the meetup details for Toronto, but I will be posting a promo code tomorrow, or maybe later today on Twitter. I'll probably pin it later today with the discount code for that. Also, don't forget we're doing a giveaway with Rare Bloom. This was on Twitter as well. I posted this yesterday, so you guys can go check out this. Where is it at here? Here it is. I'll pin this for a little bit so you guys can go check that out, since I don't have anything pinned right now. Go check out the Rare Bloom. We're doing a giveaway that is going to include like airfare and tickets and all kinds of stuff. If you want to go to the Cardano event, big shout out to the Cardano community. We are on your side. Okay, back to this. Market cap coming in $989 billion, under $1 trillion right now. I think up pretty significant from yesterday, right? Yesterday, weren't we at like 960 maybe? I can't remember exactly what it was. 24-hour volume picked up a little bit, 63 billion. We have 41.4% dominance, about the same as yesterday. ETH dominance hitting back hard yesterday after going back down to, I believe, the 17th percentile. Now we're back up to 18.3%. 18.4%, I believe, is the high that we have seen here recently. ETH gas here coming in at is going to cost you 16.5 Paraguays to send an ETH transaction. We got Bitcoin coming in, 21,470 bucks. Still down 11% for the week. But look, Ethereum holding up much better, only down 7% for the week, and having an 8% bounce back to 1487. Market cap 180 billion for that. So still, falling pretty far behind Bitcoin. We really like to see the market cap of Ethereum about 50% of Bitcoins. That would definitely be a pretty big win. We haven't seen that in quite a while. We have Binance Coin coming in 258. Excuse me. XRP up 3.5% to 33 cents, almost 34. Cardano at 47 cents. Solana up. Let's take a look at the biggest winners of the day. Lido Finance trying to straighten some stuff out. Back up to 17.89%. Ethereum Classic 13%. Polygon up 9.67%. And I tell you what, was it? Who was it? No, I was watching some guy. I was watching a developer guy on TikTok yesterday. And he was basically saying, like, what I've been telling you, watch out for this Ethereum merge. It's going to be huge. If you got a little more risk tolerance than just Ethereum, Polygon, one to watch, because as Ethereum rises, we generally see Polygon rise more. So definitely keep Polygon on your radar as we move towards this ETH2 merge. And obviously, the ETH2 merge is not going to affect the gas fees. It's not supposed to affect the gas fees in a direct way, meaning Polygon still has a lot of room to run. You know, the more I learn about what's coming later with Ethereum many years down the road, the stronger I think the chances are of Polygon having another really great bull run. Polygon has got a great marketing team. They're working with a lot of different major companies right now. Definitely keep your eye on Polygon for sure. Now, Frank, you want to come up and do some
Let's do it.
do some charts? Frank's gonna come up and do some charts, y'all. Frankie Candle. Frank, where's he at? There he is, though.
What is going on, everybody? Do a little TA for you, or a little TA, I guess you could call it. We got a lot to look at. A little TA. Little TA. We'll do a little quick little TA. Funny fact. If you want to say dad in Croatian, it's tata. Don't ask why I know that. You tata. Big fan of tatas. Anyway, guys, we do have a lot to look at today. Now, I want to start off with this. A lot of the be careful, right? Be careful. As I always say, typically I do sit out when we have these Fed meetings because, you know, price can get pretty volatile in either direction. I am currently in a Bitcoin short, up about 10% right now, but I'm not looking to get into any trades at this second. So just be careful out there. It could get very volatile with the Fed meeting. I believe the meeting's at 2:30. So just be careful out there. But with that being said, not too much has changed here, right? The daily with this money flow is just looking to cross over here. It's getting really, really close. Now, if we get this crossover into the green, obviously it would be bullish. But other than that, I just kind of want to zoom in here. Now, if you watch my live streams or if you're in the Discord, we were talking about last night, I was telling everybody to watch. There's a bullish divergence on the 1 hour, right? And you can see that right here. You have your higher lows, right? And then you have your lower lows. That is a bullish divergence. Now, it's not just anytime you see a bullish divergence, you just want to pull the trigger, right? What you want to do is wait for price to come down to a key level. And as you can see, these are basically the levels that we're watching right now. And essentially this line right here at about 21,475 or, you know, 21,500 mostly. This is your value area high, right? These are not just random levels. You know, we pulled a fixed range volume profile to get these levels. So you have your value area high right here. And then your white line right here is your point of control, the area where the most volume was traded. This is typically a very strong level, also acts as a magnet for price. But this, I want you guys to focus on this level because you have the point of control, but not only, it's not just a point of control. We do have a lot of confluence here, right? You have the point of control. You also have a golden pocket right above it. And then you have this trend line coming up for some confluence as well, right? So, you know, maybe we get a rejection come down. This would be a pretty strong place to look. But last night with that 1 hour bullish divergence, I was letting everybody know we could get a pop up and bearishly retest this value area high, which is exactly what we are seeing right now. The question is, are we going to rip through this resistance and continue higher, or are we going to get that rejection back down towards this strong area of support? Now, again, going to be very reliant on, you know, what happens with the Fed meeting today. So again, be very careful. But a little bit more on the bullish side here on your 1 hour, you are about to get a money flow crossover into the green. Last major crossover into the green that we got was right here, which obviously resulted in our last rip up, this little breakout that we had here. So, you know, just as far as levels to keep your eye on, look for a rejection here. Now, not only is this just a value area high, but it is also, if we go ahead and pull our Fibonacci retracement, let me just shrink this down a little bit. If you pull your Fibonacci retracement, I'm just going to rough this out.
They're called Frankenacci's now.
Or Frankenacci, that's right. Pull it from your high to your low. We are fighting up against this fib level right here. The 236 level If we can get above this, if we do wind up cracking this resistance and continuing higher, maybe the Fed comes out with lower numbers than we think, and we break out. The next level I would watch is this next fib level at about, the 382 level at about 22K, right? You also have that psychological even number of 22,000, which would be pretty strong resistance. But yeah, that would, in my opinion, be the next stop if we break this resistance. That would be your next strong level. But again, on the bullish side, 1 hour money flow crossover is looking imminent. And then, conflicting messages here on the 4 hour. You do have your money flow crossover into the red, starting to round right back up towards that 0 line. So keep that in mind. Be careful out there, guys, today. Please, the Fed meeting can cause some crazy, volatile, scammy price action. So just please be careful. But the main levels I am watching right now is this resistance, this 236 Fibonacci level that we have here at about 21.5. Going to be some strong resistance if we break up. Look at that 22K level at that 382 fib level. And then if we come back down, you have your plethora of confluence here. So you have plenty of support right below us. And if we do come down to test this trend line again, I've been saying this on my channel. What this does is it allows price to come down and potentially get a strong bounce here because we would be putting in another higher low to potentially come up and put another higher high. But let's get past this Fed meeting, and then we can talk about if we think, that if this relief rally is over, right? Was this the relief rally we've been waiting for? Hopefully not, but definitely possible. But let's get past.
Whoa. What is this comment?
Yeah, why
Can-
did
can you-
Frankie say he was more handsome than Ben
You said
last
you're more
week?
handsome than me?
I've never said as such in my life.
Thank you, Frank.
I would
you're
never s-
definitely not more handsome than me,
I
Frank.
would never say
I'm,
that.
I'm really, really sorry to tell you that. But one thing I want to say here is Magoo IP says, my gut is 75 bips will be read as bullish, 100 bips expected. I generally feel this way as well. I think that the 100 is somewhat priced in. And I think when it comes out as 75, which I do expect it to, I think we'll actually see maybe some upward action. Of course, last month we thought, we were going to get giant downward action. Everybody's expecting downward action with these Fed rate hikes recently. Last month we saw that it actually, did not have when the minutes came out, did not have a negative effect. And I kind of feel the same way that our commenter here in the basement does, that I think it may be bullish today. We could see relief rally continue. But I think Frank's really dead on. You got to be careful with this one way or the other because we're not 100% sure, what's going to happen, but we have seen volatility around these times.
Yeah, and again, we were expecting, price to potentially be able to make its way up to 30K, and the Fed coming out, a little more positive than we would expect would be a perfect catalyst to rip us up past that into that low volume pocket to get that quick rip up towards, between 26 and 30K. And before I let you guys go, I just want to bring this up. I actually think, if I remember correctly, Arcane Bear might have brought this up yesterday. But we do have a pretty massive bearish divergence on the weekly chart for the DXY. So also kind of points in that direction. If the Fed does come out a little better than we are expecting, we could see this bearish divergence start to play out for the DXY, which would result.
But can we throw a but here? It's not technically confirmed it's a bearish divergence at this point, because if you look at the money flow there and you look at your momentum waves, it could still be on the way up, actually. Like right now it's showing a bearish divergence, but if this move it's on continues to move up, then that may not actually carry out, correct?
Yeah, that absolutely. I'm actually glad you said that because it is important to realize it is printing, right? We have this red dot printing, but you want to wait for another candle to print before it confirms and locks in. Just remember, this red dot could disappear, and you still do have 2 days and 8 hours. So there's plenty of time for this red dot to go away. But as of right now, it is printing. But yeah, definitely not confirmed yet. So definitely important to remember. I think that's all I got. Back to Ben. BitSquad, stop putting words in my mouth.
Golly.
Look at this man.
Hey, y'all stop putting stuff in Frank's mouth. Let's go.
Bing bong.
Get out of here, Frank. If I was very sadistic, like if I was really sadistic and really wanted to do something like very dangerous, I would put a poll up on who's handsomer. But let's not do that. Oh my God. If I was really sadistic,
Oh God.
I think I'm handsomer than Frank because is my friend Russ. says, the money make me handsomer. So I'm just saying. Okay, sorry.
That is right.
He's not actually my friend.
Shout out Russ.
Russ is a great guy. He's very short.
From
He's
Atlanta.
only like 5'4". Did you know that? BJ, I really, maybe he's 5'6". I don't know. I read somewhere he was very short, which, you know, we're big fans of short people on the channel, but I am a man of above average height, which is 5'9" in America, and I am 5'10", as you guys know. We've gone over this several times on the channel. Apparently, I have little man syndrome, even though I'm tall. Okay. All right. So let's move on here. Move it to the markets. Oh, no, we got some Twitter buzz. Let's do some Twitter buzz.
Right.
Time for the Twitter buzz. Invite Chris Crypto to debate him. ETH is better than Bitcoin. Chris actually messaged me last week. So we are trying to get a little collaboration going with Crypto. You just come on the show every week. Go on his show every week. So here we go. All right. Starting with this, Jim Cramer pretending that he was aware of Coinbase issues forever. Okay. So I really thought that this doesn't TJ have you guys beat in his post-surgery hospital gown? Well, only if, you know, there's it's just tied in the back with nothing underneath. Guys, I had a tweet where I retweeted this yesterday because if you guys remember, we've been talking a little bit about this Washington Post article this week, you know, old man yells at newspaper. And one of the things they said in this article is that Jim Cramer's totally fine. He's totally fine. He's wrong. He's wrong a lot. But when he is wrong, it's within the normal bounds of cable TV. What does that mean? What is the range? How much percentage off can he be before it falls out of the range of what's normal on cable TV? So I tweeted that yesterday. I even tagged the Washington Post on it. Probably the first time they've been tagged in their history because nobody knows who they are. But the fact is that Jim Cramer is extremely dangerous out there for people. Now, but look, I'm not going to assassinate Jim Cramer's credibility here. Jim Cramer is wrong a lot. But guess what? I'm wrong a lot. We're all wrong a lot. Anyone whose job is out here to kind of direct the market and tell people where you think things are going, you're not going to be 100% right. And you're going to be absolutely wrong a lot. Kind of like when he said, what was it? Bull Stearns, whatever it is, Stearns said that, you know, it was bullish the day that the 2008 financial collapse began. He said, it's a buy, it's a buy. What is it? Bear Stearns? Is that the name of it? I think I can't remember. That shows you how much I care about the stock market. The point here is not for me to tell you that Jim Cramer is wrong on this. The fact is, the idea that Jim Cramer is any different than any YouTuber out there in the financial world, be it stocks or crypto, that's the big mistake. That's the thing that really drives me crazy is this guy gets out on cable TV, can be so wrong, tells you Coinbase is going to 475 and then turns around and tells you, oh, there's been problems with it the whole time. And there's no accountability because he's seen as an entertainment show. Do people make money off of his show? I'm sure that they do. People say he's a reverse indicator. There are times when he acts as a reverse indicator. There's times I've been a reverse indicator, but there's times he's also been extremely right. It's up to you as a viewer to take in all the information that you get from whoever you watch and put it together in a nice little profile that helps you to make your own financial decisions, you know, based on all the information that you have at your fingertips and at your disposal. So he was really wrong on that one. He's been really right about some other stuff, just like the rest of us. But you got to remember, when you're watching my show, when you're watching his show, you're watching it for research, but you're also watching it as entertainment. Of course, not every YouTuber out there is entertaining. So I know you're not watching some of these people for entertainment. I know that's a fact. Maybe about 10% of us. But anyways, Baron Stearns is fine. Yeah, that was a famous quote from him. So now, obviously, I said Bitcoin to $100,000 and it didn't happen. So we all have some things where we have some egg on our face. So just try to be aware of all that. Metaspawn Crypto here says, large audiences are reverse indicators. That's a great point, something a lot of people don't think about. As usually when someone with a big platform talks about something, people make a certain action based off of that, whether it's CNBC, a crypto YouTuber, Jim Cramer, and then usually the public is wrong, kind of like in sports gambling. The public is usually wrong. So if the public is going, you know, over 50% are betting on a certain team or on a certain point spread, you're much better off to go with the sharps and go the other direction. All right, next. Ben, what I heard was buy everything I mentioned. No, that's not true. Chuck Calesto here, breaking report. China issues direct threat to Biden administration. Beijing says it is seriously prepared if Pelosi dares to make Taiwan trip. Send her. And promises serious consequences as Taipei holds invasion drills for residents. Now, guys, there was a time when a lot of people said, yeah, I said ETH to 10K. I did say ETH to 10K. But you guys remember every prediction we made was based on Bitcoin hitting above $100,000, which it didn't. So a cascading effect, everything else was going to be wrong. And that's what a lot of people don't want to, they want to point out all of the individual wrongs of the different coins we thought would be different prices, but it was all based on Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin didn't get to where we thought it would, of course, nothing else was going to. But here's the thing. When Ukraine was invaded by Russia, a lot of people were saying Taiwan is next. China is about to go after Taiwan. We're about to see this multi-front war, all this stuff. And I told you guys at the time, after I did a little bit of research on it, that wasn't going to happen. This is not the year that President Xi would do something like that, which I don't know, a lot of people know this. I believe President Xi himself is actually from Taiwan. So a lot of vested interest there for him. But the point is that in the next 2 years, we could see movement against Taiwan, but I don't think that we will. Why is the United States so concerned with what happens in Taiwan? Well, it all has to do over, I believe it's silicone. Silicone. Is silicone a mineral? What is silicone technically? It's an element. There you go. That's the word I was looking. They're not minerals, Marie. They're elements. I don't, BJ. BJ, he's smart, guys. BJ's real smart. He wants you to know. He knows the amount of valence electrons. They're not rocks, Marie. They're minerals. They're not minerals, Ben. They're elements. That was BJ right there to me. So silicone is something we use for all kinds of stuff. Huge supply there of it. Guys, you notice whenever the United States makes strong stands against something, what does it always have to do with? Our own personal financial interests. That's the way the government works. That's the way our country works. When you're a little bit younger, semiconductors as well. People say we need them for chips, computer chips. When you're younger, I think you're a little more naive about what happens in the world, and you don't understand really how much the money and the personal interest and the country, national interest play into this stuff. But we're not going to let China basically take over Taiwan because we need a lot of the technology pieces that come from there. Paul Albiston says, why did we not get an alt season? Let's put that for Q&A at the end. I like that. We'll answer that at the very end. Walter White, Hank, you guys watching Better Call Saul? I love that show. It's a great show. Better Call Saul. Okay. Next one. Next Shorter Buzz. Let's go. Also, send Pelosi over. Maybe the rest of us can make some money trading when she leaves. Bitcoin Archive says, breaking UAE bank to allow customers to trade Bitcoin and crypto using the local currency. So that is really big. Anytime you're able to trade crypto through banks, that is it's a win and a loss. It's a loss for the ideals of crypto, the philosophy of decentralization in crypto, but it's a win for volume and liquidity. And that's what we see a lot. We see a lot of these trade-offs where we're sacrificing, and this is what leads us to lose a lot of these battles on the short term. We're sacrificing the ideals of crypto for the convenience of crypto. And the more, I want you guys to think about this, the more something in crypto starts to look like a bank, the worse it is. Big example, Celsius. Celsius started out to be the anti-bank. What did they become? They became actually worse than a bank. Alex Mashinsky's big thing was he wanted to bring in the next 100 million people into crypto. Well, he's responsible for sending probably 100 million people out of crypto at this point. So he's going to go down certainly as one of the biggest scammers in history for sure. And when it comes to crypto. But UAE, United Arab Emirates, this is big, I believe. Isn't this where the World Cup is next?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. Next World Cup look is this year, I think, isn't it? Isn't this the year? 2022. 2018 was Russia. 2026. Where's 2022? 2026 is here in America. Oh, 2026 we actually have in Atlanta, we have that, and we're gonna get to have our suite to go to a World Cup match. That'll be fun. What about 2022? Why did I put 26? 2022. Where is that at? Qatar. Oh, it's Qatar. Qatar is not the United Arab Emirates, but it's close, right? Crypto versus BitBoy in a cage fight. I just don't think Chris is mean enough to fight me. I don't think he's mean enough. Hey, he's pretty built. Like he's got some biceps. He's pretty built. I just don't know if Chris is mean enough. He's such a nice guy. He's too nice. You got to have a mean streak if you're going to get in the cage. You know what I mean? All right, let's move. Yes, Allison? Thank you, Allison. Allison reporting. You can think, Allison, breaking news, World Cup is in Qatar. Thank you, Allison. You are very late, Allison. We already went over this whole time. Thank you, Allison. That's a good assistant. When she sees you're wrong about something and she's willing to run from another room to fix it, that's why we love Allison here on the channel. She is the best. Sometimes you guys are lucky. You get to see her hand. Okay. All right. Moving on to the news here. Bitcoin, Ethereum inch higher. Matic jumps, along with what we were talking about earlier. Then we've got the Fed to unveil. Well, I guess this is the top news of the day, right? We'll move on to the FOMC meeting. Fed to unveil another big rate hike as signs of economic slowdown grow. I am going to Dubai, by the way. I am going. We changed our travel schedule a little bit. I think October 10th through the 13th. Going to Dubai, and I'm going to be at Rare Bloom in Colorado the 14th and 15th. So hopefully Chris and Carl will be out there. I'd love to. I've met Chris before. He came out here to LA when I was there, but love to meet Carl in person. Hopefully they'll be there. They're always traveling, so who knows? I don't think we'll get a cage match in. Maybe we'll do a cage match while I'm out there. With the Federal Reserve expected to hike its key interest rate, why did it do that? I don't know. By 0.75 of a percentage point on Wednesday to battle high inflation. I think this will be around 2 o'clock today, Eastern Standard Time. Focus will shift to how deeply signs of an economic slowdown have registered with its policymakers. A fast trip to neutral. Fed's ongoing rate increases mark one of, if not the, fastest journeys from a low point in interest rates to the neutral level, where monetary policy is no longer encouraging borrowing and spending. By year's end, policymakers project policy will be restrictive. How about that? Dude has the worst ADD. Bird. Squirrel is the right animal to look at there, sir. Squirrel. Even ahead of the week's squirrel. Even ahead of the week's 2-day policy meeting, the inflation problem was considered so dire that investors placed about a 1 in 4 chance the Fed would surprise markets with a larger 1 percentage point increase in its benchmark overnight interest rate. Reminiscent of the hikes used in the early 1980s by then Fed Chair Paul Volcker, the issue is whether or not the Fed is overdoing it. Now, let's talk about the Fed overdoing it here. First and foremost, it's going to be really hard for them to overdo it here because we're in such a bad spot financially. Guys, our financial system is dying right in front of our eyes. We are watching the collapse of the fiat system. Now, you get a lot of YouTubers out here, a lot of these Bitcoin folks, a lot of these crypto folks, they come out here and they want to tell you that this system is collapsing and Bitcoin is going to come in and swoop in and save everything. A sleeveless crypto would win in the ring against BitBoy. I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know if he's mean enough. He's got some big biceps. I don't know what his bench is. He does kilograms. Okay. I do pounds. Pounds are much heavier than kilograms. Actually, I don't think that's true. I think that's actually the other way. But regardless, okay. So the idea here is, can they overdo it? Now, a lot of people are saying this. We've seen inflation inch up over 9%. Was it 9.1? I think was the percent. I was blown away by that for the inflation in the last month's reporting. But what I would tell you is this. What we're hearing is the pendulum is already swinging back. The numbers have just not been reflecting it enough. So once the numbers starts to swing back, how far out is the Fed willing to go to increase the interest rates? The realtors that I've talked to that are not echo chamber realtors that are saying, buy, it's a great time to buy right now because they like to make money. The people that really seem to be in the know, what I'm hearing is they're expecting interest rates in the mortgages to get to 8%, which would put about a 4%, I believe, about a 4% on the Fed interest rate. There's some relationship there. I'm not a realtor. I don't understand how it works. I'm not a mortgage broker. I don't understand how it works. But I think it's about a 4% difference. They're expecting up to 8%. That's going to be insane. That's what we were talking about yesterday. We're going to start pushing these off to 40-year mortgages. That's what's going to be coming soon. A 7-year car loan was unheard of 15 years ago. Now it's commonplace. We're going to start seeing the same thing with these mortgages. What they want you to spend your entire life paying off your house so you never actually own it. That's what they want. But are they going to overdo it? Are they going to push interest rates so far and then the inflation swings back the other way? And now the economy is in an even worse spot in the long term. And we talked a long time about how the long tail problem of inflation versus the short tail problem of hiking interest rates. We're going to start seeing some effect on that here pretty soon. So, BitBoy, are you holding any cash? I'm looking to invest around the end of September. Yeah, we're holding a lot of cash. That is mostly what we're holding right now as we are waiting for the markets to coming down. Should listen to George Gammon's video about weaponizing the Fed. I like George Gammon's. He has not been on this channel. I've never actually talked to him, but he is a person who I've watched. I really like, what he says and does, stuff he's talked about. The first time I really started learning about the World Economic Forum was from one of his videos. So he's a great YouTuber. Definitely a big fan. So somebody should tell him, come on the show. We'd love to have George on the show. Okay. Conflicting data. So by the Fed's preferred measure, inflation is running at more than 3 times the central bank's 2% annual target, leaving policymakers aligned behind not just the unusually large 75 basis point hikes, the biggest move since 1994, but a promise to continue raising borrowing costs until monthly inflation numbers fall. The U.S. economy is likely to have contracted in the first half of the year, but job growth remains robust. This is a bad thing, guys. I don't know how many more times I have to tell you. This is a bad thing. Somebody said their current mortgage rate is 2%. Yeah, that's you're going to be a big winner now that these rates are going up. That's what a lot of people are saying is if you got in 2% or lower, you're doing phenomenal in your house. But what we're seeing here is because the economy has been so great and inflation's been so high and people had so much disposable income, it's been an employee's market for jobs. Now we're creating a lot of jobs out there that once the real effects of this recession start getting felt, these jobs are going to go away and people are going to be laid off and it's going to be harder to find jobs over the next year. The job market growing during a recession is not good news, guys. This is bad news. It's going to swing the other way as well. So hold on to your job if you can. I'll tell you that. Okay. Let's see. Inflation leading to record low consumer sentiment, but consumers are still spending. Why is this? Why are consumers still spending when we have record low consumer sentiment? It's very simple. Because people today still have disposable income. That's what happens at the beginning of a recession. Guess what happens by the end of it? People have ran through all their disposable income and have none left. And that's what puts a real hurting on the economy. So we also have Raoul Pal here. Were there 2 Raoul Pal stories? Yeah, 2 different Raoul Pal stories, which are, I think we're covering in different topics here. Yeah, so this is the tail end of this story. Ex-Goldman executive warns economy is about to drop off a cliff. Here's what it means for crypto. You guys know we love Raoul Pal. We've had him on the show several times. I believe he's writing the forward for my book that's coming out at the end of the year, which I actually found out is already for sale. You can actually already pre-order it. I'm not going to give you the link. If you want to go try to track it down, you can. My wife pre-ordered it yesterday. She said, I'm the first. You're going to sign this book for me. I said, sure, I'll do that for you. Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal thinks crypto has probably bottomed, and the biggest macro influence on crypto is the global money supply. Raoul Pal has an extremely bullish bias because he understands where the space is going. And I think that's what's caused him to say a lot of these things about where the space is going. And I generally agree with him. I don't agree that we bottomed. We could have bottomed. There's definitely potential that we've bottomed. Personally, I think we have a little more downside, at least a double test, a test of a double bottom. But he says he predicts economic growth will soon fall off a cliff, which will spur an increase in the money supply. He said, in this chart, ISM is inverted and the money supply looks like it should start bottoming out and going higher. If it goes higher, crypto should go with it. Now that makes sense because as economic weakness has come, the central banks start coming into play. Liquidity starts being pushed into the system. We're already seeing it in China. The U.S. dollar situation, maybe we see swap lines that help the money supply. So I think we're going to see the turn in money supply. So that's the macro for crypto improving as growth goes slower. M2 is the measure of the current money supply. It takes into account cash, checking, savings, money market securities, and other easily convertible assets. The ISM Manufacturing Index is viewed as an indicator of the health of the U.S. economy. So Sean says, hey, Ben, I literally about to take off on a flight, but had to catch some of the show. Well, thank you for watching from the plane. Commercial flights in the United States, undefeated since 9/11, just so you guys know. Very safe, undefeated since 9/11. That's why I like to fly commercial. I don't like to fly private. It scares me a little bit, to be honest with you. But one day I may have to. So this what he's saying basically is that, we're going to see a big change in the money supply. The quantitative easing is going to come back. And this is why I do want to go back to this tweet that I made. This one right here. Let's see. Where did I say it here? Gary Gensler, synonym, scammer, fraud, future felon, grifter, desperate, dirty, testicleless, alien. I finally spelled alien out for you guys. Where did it go? Was it like the second one? Oh, the melt up. What do y'all think about the melt up? Frank, have you heard this phrase melt up?
No.
You haven't heard him talk about a melt up?
Nope.
Yeah. The Chamath Palahapatiya was all big on this melt up, What is a melt up, by the way? It's because a giant collapse is coming, the market pumps gigantically. They just made that up, guys. They made that term up last year. That's not a real thing. I tweeted about that. But here's the tweet. What if I told you Bitcoin is doing the exact same thing it does every 4 years and all the rest is just noise? Guys, this is the deal here. It's going the same thing. It's going the same route it always has in these 4-year cycles. These macroeconomics, they're certainly playing a role in things, but Bitcoin would be doing this regardless right now. Bitcoin is driven by the halving and the supply shock. That's what it's driven by. It's driven by Bitcoin miners selling off and having to buy equipment. That's what it's driven by. What we're looking at is a potential for a gigantic rally once we bottom and once we have the halving, because of all these same things Raoul Pal is talking about here. Things are going to be swinging back the other way for Bitcoin, and the economy seems to always be lining up with what Bitcoin is doing in its cycle. Pandemic, gigantic crash at the end, right pre-halving in 2020. We haven't seen that before. But what happened? What that led to was a perfect catalyst for Bitcoin as it moved into the halving. So which one has the bigger effect on the other? We don't really know. But things are lining up very well for Bitcoin in the next few years. Chris F. with a super chat. Hi, Ben. How high can the Fed raise rates before they can't afford to pay the interest on their own debt? That's a great question. I think that 4% is probably where they will cap out. I don't know how that affects the debt, but that is kind of what I see happening. Somebody said, Ben, remember your deflation narrative at the end of last year? Inflation was over. It's taken a little bit longer, but that's still happening, guys. Like, we're still moving towards that, towards the deflationary time. At some point, it's just drug on, just like a lot of the stuff we talked about, that I think we're going to end up being right about a lot of things. The timeline was just a little too aggressive compared to what we're seeing now. So, whether it's, next year we start moving into that territory, I'm not sure. But things will be, we're going to see this inflation swing back. And what we could see is, if they get super aggressive with these rates and we do get up to 4%, that swing back is going to be really hard. It's going to be really drastic. And that inflation is going to drop tremendously. We've been seeing them making the moves to try to do it. It just hasn't happened at this point. Chuck a coin with a $1 super chat. Appreciate that. All right, moving on here to the supply shock of Ethereum. Back to Raoul Pal again here with the comments. Massive Ethereum supply shock incoming as ETH prepares to outpace Bitcoin. Raoul Pal. DL says, at what price would you go all in on ETH? I don't think there's a price to go all in at. I think it could go down to as low as $500 to $600. $600 is a number I'm really looking at. But what I would say is, you don't want to go all in at any price. You always want to have some money on the sidelines. But $500 to $600 would be a range that would be very, very, very tempting to make it happen. Macroeconomic expert Raoul Pal says Ethereum is set for a series of supply shocks that could help the second largest crypto asset by market cap vastly outperform Bitcoin once again. I guess I get really bored talking about Ethereum because here I am yawning. Let's see. The former Goldman Sachs executive says the chart supports his hunch that Ethereum is about to outperform Bitcoin. We were talking about Crypto Lark saying that yesterday. So I've been telling you that for years at this point, and Lark's been saying it as well. Here's what Raoul Pal said. He said, what's really interesting here is that this is a supply reduction of really monumental proportions that's about to happen, something I've been echoing and mimicking and telling you guys. There are no miners anymore, talking about Ethereum. So therefore, all the activity of miners of selling the tokens that they've earned, they probably sell about 80% of the tokens they get just to fund their own activities. That's about $1 billion or $2 billion a month. That's out of the market. So that's a small supply shock. There's no ongoing pressure every day from miners who've been rewarded with Ethereum. Then the staking activity, there's currently about 9% of all Ethereum staked by most guesses. That number should rise to about 30% because initially we just see some outsized deals, maybe up as high as 20%, maybe it's 15%, who the heck knows. But either way, it's going to attract a lot of capital into staking. And so that becomes very interesting itself because if it gets up to 30% of all ETH staked, that's 30% that's dormant. That's 30% that cannot be used for DeFi, CeFi, rehypothecation, shorting, liquidity provision, nothing. It's out of the system. Okay, that is a massive supply shock. Well, I'll tell you, this is very, very interesting because let me tell you what he's not saying here. What he's not saying here is to think about as well, the validator nodes, once they're fully supported on this ETH2 merge, they're not able to sell for 6 months. They're locked up for 6 months. What does this do? All of the stuff he's talking about, combined with the fact they're going to be locked up for 6 months, means that Ethereum has got a chance to eat away at Bitcoin's lead while Bitcoin is struggling and barely moving. I think this is setting up for the flipping. We will get in the cycle. I thought we had a chance to see it at the end of the last cycle. If Bitcoin breached 100K, it didn't, so we didn't see it. I'm not sure what, let's see in the last cycle. Let's double check here. I want to look at what Bitcoin dominance compared to ETH dominance got up to at the peak. Excuse me. Let's actually go here and look at the ETH to Bitcoin chart here. Let's see what it peaked at. Let's go to the month. So it peaked out here. Now, this would have been the last cycle. So the last cycle, it got all the way up to almost 16% of Bitcoin. The value of one Bitcoin one Ethereum versus one Bitcoin. This cycle, I think it peaked at 8.5. Yeah, about 8.8%, which is a range we expected it to get into. So it got to 8.8%. What does it have to do to get to the actual price of Bitcoin? Well, we come here and we look, or the market cap of Bitcoin, excuse me. It looks like in the peak here, we had Bitcoin at 40% and Ethereum at 21%. So at the peak, it looks about 53, 54% of the Bitcoin price or the Bitcoin market cap, excuse me. I definitely think we have the potential to see here Bitcoin go sideways for a while. And you can see right here, if you really look, Ethereum is starting to make a move right now upwards. As right now it is at 18.43%. I mean, think at the peak here. At the peak, it got to 21.3%. Right now, it's at 18.43%. We are going to see the destruction of this narrative that over the bear market, Bitcoin runs away from everything else. This Ethereum merge, once in a lifetime event, guys. This, I will tell you, I am not a financial advisor. Sometimes I think about getting a financial degree just so I can say F you to everybody and just out of spite tell you this is financial advice. But what I will tell you is this, is that Ethereum right now, once in a lifetime event, this could be the biggest investment opportunity of people's lifetimes outside of getting an Ethereum the very beginning, getting a Bitcoin the very beginning. You missed the very beginnings of a lot of these. The market caps, even with new launching coins, are much higher than those were. This is your next best chance. If you are not seriously investing in Ethereum right now, in my opinion, you are doing it wrong. The inflation rate is going from 4.3% to 0.2%, a 95% reduction. Miners no longer selling off, validator nodes, stakers having to hold for at least the first 6 months. This is when we will see Ethereum make the most significant gain against Bitcoin in terms of market cap that we've ever seen. And I believe this sets up for the next bull run, Ethereum to be the number one coin over Bitcoin. Now, that does not mean the price will be higher. It means the market cap will be higher. I think if I'm correct, the price of Bitcoin, for the price of Ethereum to surpass the price of Bitcoin, I think it would have to be what, 6 times the market cap, I believe. So, Bitcoin's sitting at 500, or Bitcoin was sitting at $1 trillion, Ethereum would have to be 6 trillion. We're not going to see that. But in market cap, which is what CoinMarketCap ranks the coins by, I believe in the next cycle, we will definitely see Ethereum pass by. Now, I believe that in the last cycle, if Ethereum had passed Bitcoin, I thought it would be temporary and it would come back down. Because of the merge and because of where we're at, I believe when it passes, there's a chance it could be permanent. Maybe not in one day, but I believe there is a strong chance that by the end of this cycle, Ethereum is permanently number one. Barry Silbert, the founder of Crypto Giant Digital Currency Group, is taking to Twitter to reveal he is genuinely excited about Ethereum's much anticipated upgrade. After the merge, which is expected to take place in September, Ethereum will be only partially complete in the post-merge era. Ethereum will undergo a series of further upgrades, as explained by Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin. These deep changes will be happening in parallel. Obviously, guys, a lot of people are excited about this. I don't think you can possibly be underselling this ETH merge. And if you guys want to see a really cool video about the flipning, just go to my channel and type in Flipning Friday, and you can see the music video that I made and animated about Ethereum passing Bitcoin 3 years ago. That's right, guys. People say this is a new thing I'm talking about. I've been talking about this for many, many, many years. Look at that face. That's an incredible face. I love that face. I'm going to be honest with you. That's a really great one. Oh, there we go. We just did a video about this a month ago, talking about the flipning. God, I looked so great a month ago. I look even better today. Who would have thought? And guys, we've had a lot of issues with exchanges. As you guys know, we've got a big video, a wallet video we just recorded for you guys. If you're interested in getting a ledger, which look, me personally, that's what I use. I use ledgers. Trezor is also a really great product. Arculus is a great product. There's plenty other ones out there. They're great products. We're covering another one in the video this weekend. But if you guys do want to get a ledger, we do have an affiliate link for you guys. Frank, if you could pop, it's in the description down below. If you could pop that in the chat for anybody that wants to protect your crypto, guys. Even if you have no idea how to use one, get a Ledger Nano S. How much are they now? Like $70, $60?
Yep.
They're not even that much. Get one, start learning how to use it slowly but surely. You've got to own your own crypto. It's so important. We'll put that in the chat, and we'll also pin that. So if you guys are interested in getting a ledger, something that you guys can do. So moving on here to the next story. What was the super chat, by the way? The 499 XRP?
There you go.
Is XRP on exchanges going to dry up now that Jed's wallet is empty? I don't think so. I don't think Jed's wallet is going to have that huge of an impact. I think it's more a residual thing. People no longer have the fear of him continuing to sell off. But the fact is, people have a hard time buying XRP right now because it's not really on exchanges. You guys can check out onxrp.com. That is, that was debuted here on this channel as a place where you can buy XRP. If you are an American, of course, Uphold is a place, KuCoin are places that you can buy. So just buying it, sending it off to a wallet, just like we talked about. Ledger supports XRP if you guys want to know where you can hold your crypto. And guys, don't get caught with your pants down like we all did on Celsius or Voyager. A lot of you guys did. I think it was it like 20% of our audience had money on there. I'm shocked it wasn't higher just because they're big platforms in the space. Both of those were. Voyager, not nearly as big as Celsius, in my opinion, but, had a lot of coins on there that you could only buy there. For a long time, you could buy Voyager or XRP on Voyager. So a lot of people got hurt by that. Don't get caught with your pants down. Make sure you guys are learning how to self-custody your crypto. Tether says it holds no Chinese commercial paper. What is this blue Tether logo? Do you like this?
That's nice. I like the blue.
Somebody says get the Nano S Plus. I'm just a big fan of the regular. I think the regular is great. I think the Ledger Nano X or the Ledger X, whatever it's called, I think that's also a great one. But to me, if you're going to get started, just get the cheap one. Just get the cheap one and learn it. It's kind of a complicated process. Learn how to use it. It can hold a lot of coins. I think it may hold more coins than the X, but the X is a lot more user friendly. But anyways, maybe I got that wrong, but the Ledger Nano S is the best beginner crypto hardware wallet out there, I believe. So I will say that. Stablecoin issuer Tether said today that it holds no Chinese commercial paper, seemingly the first time it has made this statement, which is pretty interesting considering the fact that, Bitfinex, it did start out kind of, I believe, on that side of the world over there. I believe it did. Maybe a lot of Caribbean ties, a lot of Brock Pierce ties. But I do believe there is certainly some Asian elements over there to Bitfinex. But in a statement, Tether outlined that it has reduced its commercial paper exposure by $4.7 billion since the start of the month, holds $3.7 billion of commercial papers and reserves, down 88% from $30 billion in July. Tether also took aim at critics. With that in mind, Tether would like to again reiterate to naysayers who continue to spread falsities about its commercial paper holdings that you are wrong. This is one. They said that X holds way more. It holds way more at one time, but is the actual list of the ones that it holds more? I remember when I got it, I used the Nano S, so I don't even use the X. I had the X. I did a video on it. I remember there was something about it that seemed a little restrictive. Maybe somebody can remember what that is and put that in the chat. I can't remember. It's been a while since I used the X. But people love throwing Tether under the bus, right? CoffeeZilla did a giant video about Tether FUD, how it's the whole, the bane of the existence of crypto. And there's no doubt, Tether started by Bitfinex, the Omni blockchain in the beginning, a lot of shell companies behind it, Brock Pierce all up in that, a lot of scammy stuff in the beginning of Tether. No question. You will not get an argument from me on that. Terrible company. Fast forward to today. Fake it till you make it. They faked it, and now they've made it. So they do have the backings of the Tether grants. Here's my one concern about Tether at this point, right? Of course, you can not want to support it because of the beginnings. I always suggest using USDC over Tether, but I also do not believe that Tether is extremely dangerous. But at the same time, kind of like we tell you with exchanges, I think Coinbase is fine. I do. I trust Coinbase, but still, it's not where I would have my money. Same thing with Tether. I trust it. I think it's going to be fine. I don't think there's going to be an issue, but I would still rather seeing you use USDC because my main concern is, as I believe USDC will eventually become the digital dollar, will become the Fed dollar, there's just a lot of incentive for our government to attack Tether. And I think that's a lot of what we see is the government going after Tether to try to bring it down, as USDC will ultimately become the Fed dollar. The mystery of Tether's commercial paper here. Tether never explicitly denied that it had exposure to commercial paper from China. September 2021, it denied that it had any exposure to commercial paper issued by troubled Chinese real estate giant Evergrande. Time acknowledged that it held international commercial paper, but would not specify if it had any exposure to Chinese commercial paper. So there you go. There's your story on Tether. Will USDC dethrone USDT? Here's another report. They're saying yes. Big surprise. I talked about this a pretty good bit here just now. You can see the growth rates. It is surpassing. Guys, this is definitely something to watch out for. Just going to touch on a couple of these. We got a special guest we're going to be bringing on probably about 5 minutes. Toomey calls for answers on crypto enforcement approach and letter to the SEC. U.S. Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania is asking questions to the SEC. And Gary Gensler for clarity on the way the agency regulates crypto firms, arguing that the current set of standards has resulted in billions of dollars in losses for American investors and is stifling financial innovation. The SEC is choosing to generally regulate by enforcement. Why? Because they don't like doing their job. They don't like doing their job. That is why. Toomey said, citing a recent insider trading suit filed by the SEC that could have unintended consequences for token projects. We talked about this extensively. Basically, you have Gary Gensler trying to land grab here towards the end of the SEC power over crypto. Toomey pressed Gensler on concerns of regulation by enforcement tactics in September of last year during a Senate Banking Committee hearing. At that time, he also asked Gensler to give public clarity on crypto regulation, but he doesn't. This is the only thing that the alien, Skeletor, dirty Gary Gensler will say. He will say this. Well, if there's securities, I know there should be securities. I need a freaking cul-de-sac on my head. Brad Sherman and Gary Gensler, they could have a race between their heads. Race little Hot Wheels around those little cul-de-sacs. No offense to our cul-de-sac viewers. If you have a cul-de-sac on your head, we love but we don't love these two guys. So I look for anything I can to go after them. But anyway, so we got Pat Toomey. He's sent this letter. We'll kind of follow and see what happens here. I like people pressing Gary Gensler. This man needs to be arrested. Gary Gensler is a criminal, straight up. He is definitely a very corrupt politician. Not even a politician. He's not an elected official. So he's not technically a politician, but he is. We know the ones that you can't get rid of are the worst, and he is the worst of the worst, followed only by Janet the Felon Yellen, bribed by banks all year long, the year before she took over as Treasury Secretary. Coinbase releasing first part of Bored Ape Yacht Club featured movie, while coin keeps tanking and ARK dumps Coinbase shares. By the way, did you guys see that that Coinbase NFT like cartoon that they put out? Somebody says they think they used me as inspiration for one of those characters. I'm a little offended because he's extremely overweight. But it does kind of. He's wearing a Christmas sweater. You guys know I wore Christmas sweaters. I'm just saying, Coinbase, be careful. If that's your way of coming at me, I'll tell you in the NFT platform game, you don't want to come at me right now because we're coming after all y'all. So there you go. Uh-oh. Just remember my little paperweight. Did you guys know, by the way, the octopus walk on two legs on the bottom of the ocean floor?
Is that true?
Yeah. I saw a video of it on TikTok. They walk on the ocean floor with 2 of their 8 legs.
It's
creepy. Very bizarre to watch. Let's see. Study finds crypto investors more attractive and smarter. NFT profiles unattractive. Well, guys, if you are into NFTs, I'm sorry, you are not cute. However, if you're a crypto investor as myself, you are much more attractive and smarter. I will tell you, crypto has made me a lot more attractive. It definitely has.
The money makes you handsomer.
Money makes you handsomer. I mean, what can I say? I love that people who haven't been on the channel in a while then come in. I see the BitBoys Rip comments. Yeah, dang right I am. I'm going to get more ripped too. Much more ripped. I'm only half ripped as I'm going to be.
Yeah, a lot of people saying you're looking ripped and looking young.
Yeah, well, dang right. Somebody grab me some thread. You know what I mean? I'm ripped. Somebody grab me some ice because I'm swole. Sorry, those are some jokes we used to make in the 5th grade. Okay, just real quick, I'm going to touch on these headlines, and we're going to bring on Valhalla Capital. Here, we got judge denying SEC's motion to revoke XRP holders' Amici status. Basically, this is a gigantic win for John Deaton. I'm sure we're going to go over a little bit of this here in our interview. Also, if you're in the XRP Army, make sure to throw it up. Make sure to smash that like button if you're in the XRP Army. You guys, I am not doing stem cell treatments. I see that comment. I'm just this incredibly ripped and good looking. That's all. XRP Network, when you lose weight, it's amazing what happens to you. XRP Network just had the largest amount of unique addresses interacting on it in 2.5 years. So a lot of people doing some big stuff. Let's go ahead and bring our guest on here.
All right.
Yeah, let's bring him on here. There he is, James Valhalla Capital. What is going on? How are you doing today?
Good, Ben. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, it's a great day to have you on because we got a lot of big news coming out yesterday about the case, especially around what John Deaton is doing, and he is really pressing Gary Gensler. So we're going to talk about some of that. But if you could first, James, let's go ahead and just tell everybody who you are, what you do, what your, what Valhalla Capital is, and stuff like that.
Sure. Well, thanks again for having me, Ben. My name is Jimmy Valley. I'm the founding partner and managing director of a family investment firm in Houston called Valhalla Capital. We were a traditional private equity type investment group, mostly passive investments prior to 2020. And what we would invest in is, small businesses, real estate, oil and gas, technology. We had a fitness vertical, things of that nature. And I'd say we fundamentally changed the focus of the firm following the onslaught of the pandemic in March 2020. We realized all the things that are now becoming very clear to everyone, the corruption in the government and all these types of things, the falling of the dollar, the desire for other countries to get out of using the US dollar as the world reserve currency really drove us into digital assets, initially Bitcoin, because that was kind of the name, and we invested in Bitcoin probably at one of its low points in March, did very, very well with that. But what, from our perspective, we were trying to basically use these digital assets as kind of the plumbing of our businesses. So we kind of we initially started to roll that out in each of the businesses as like a treasury function. Instead of holding, all your money in cash, we would hold everything not needed for the next 30 days roughly in digital assets. And it was using, Bitcoin in that manner that it was a little clunky, it was a little slow. We started looking for something better. Ultimately, that's what got us into kind of these newer generation digital assets like XRP, XLM, the ISO token, compliant tokens, things like that.
Wow, that's a lot. Definitely sounds like you got in Bitcoin at a good time, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
now, people associate you a lot with XRP.
Right.
You made a lot of big comments on it, and I guess let's just start with where things are at today with this case. How are you kind of viewing where things are at from your perspective with the Ripple Ads versus SEC case?
Yeah. So from our perspective, you got to think we always believe. So I'm a former securities lawyer,
Mm.
and so by the time the case was filed, we had already done months and months and months of analysis and seen precedent. The FinCEN agreement back in 2015, where the statement of fact was that XRP is a virtual currency. There was numerous big law attorneys that had done Howey test analysis
Right.
on the asset and had come to the conclusion that it was not a security. I participated in the first ever crypto town hall meeting with Representative Tom Emmer in the summer of 2020. Brad Garlinghouse was on that call. There was 42 of us, I think, that were in that town hall meeting.
Wow.
I think Perry Ann Boring was there. And Tom Emmer said at that time, XRP is not a security. So by December of 2020, we had not thought for several months that XRP could ever be considered a security. We were planning to build our infrastructure and businesses and go on down the road. So it was very head scratching when the lawsuit happened. When Chairman Clayton left the very next day, that was super head scratching. And then the SEC started to change the rules that had basically applied to other settlements that had occurred and resolutions of cases like Kick Interactive and others. So this whole time, from our perspective, we viewed the whole case as a complete sham.
Yeah.
So much so we don't even think that the SEC is in control of it. We think ultimately it's the Fed, it's the legacy banking system that's driving them and telling them what to do, delaying the adoption of XRP and the other, kind of next gen digital assets in legacy banking system to have an opportunity perspective. So every one of these motions and things that occur, obviously, the whole case for over a year and now almost a year and 5 months has been about these Hinman emails
Yeah.
and the memos and the documents that relate to how the SEC came to the conclusion that Ethereum was not a security. So the original order to disclose those emails and documents with that analysis, which is very germane to understanding if the defendants, certainly the individual defendants, Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse, had fair notice, is whether what was the analysis that the SEC came to the conclusion that Bitcoin and Ether were not securities, yet XRP was. So and that everybody should have known. It was so clear that everybody should have known that it was a security. So that has been the whole case since April of 2021. There's been nothing else. The SEC has not put forth any evidence. I think they're just now in the thing that's just happened recently with these motions around the expert witnesses and the Daubert motions, and that's why Deaton had filed. He wanted to bring to the court's attention that the one of the experts that was being put forth that was going to opine on the state of mind of investors in XRP. He thought maybe you should hear from the 68,000 people that I have about what the state of mind, what the state of mind was. He has affidavits and all this stuff. So that's where we are. Obviously, I think the Judge Torres in the SEC's, I think it's like their fifth attempt to basically not only the disclosure of these documents and emails, which are critically important, but the second time that they tried to get Mr. Deaton thrown off the lawsuit completely. So I think that the court made the right decision. Effectively, where we're at is that he will get to, in connection with the summary judgment motions, which are the dispositive motions in the case. This case will be determined by a judge. It won't go to a jury, to my knowledge. So it'll all be about the facts, and the law will be known to the judge. They'll file their motions, and the judge will make a decision. And then it could be appealed, and ultimately go all the way up to the Supreme Court potentially. But that's our. We think the Judge Torres made the right decision this time. It was interesting that she denied the SEC's motion without even kind of saying it's denied. It was more of this. Deaton can file his brief along with the dispositive motions, which basically infers he's still on the case. He's not kicked off the case. No,
well, John Deaton is a bulldog. Like, he is an absolute bulldog. They don't want this guy coming after him, because he is relentless, and the stuff he's uncovered has been unreal. He is the one that kind of started putting this stuff out about ETHgate. We like to call it SEC gate kind of here, because it's not necessarily about Ethereum itself or Ethereum holders. It's about what was going on with the Ethereum Alliance and Joseph Lubin and a lot of this stuff. But the company, the law firm that had a gigantic conflict of interest between the Ethereum Alliance, the Ethereum is not a security comments, William Hinman, is Simpson Thacher. Well, this came out a few months ago. Now we just uncovered that since May, sometime between May and today, which is only the last 2 months, Simpson Thacher has now left the Ethereum Alliance. What is the implication there? Is it because all this stuff came out? I mean, the timing is a little suspicious. What do you think about that?
Well, what I think is really unfortunate about that, Ben, is that we are left here in the retail investment community to read tea leaves like that. I don't know that there's anything specifically nefarious about them leaving during this time. We all know the connection. We have the emails between Bill Hinman and the SEC ethics department, where they're telling him you have a criminal conflict of interest. You have an ongoing financial interest in your former law firm. He was still a partner at the firm, effectively. So, I mean, de facto partner in the firm, and he made roughly $5 million a year during his time at the SEC. So, what I think is really unfortunate is that, and I agree with you, it is SEC gate. It's not ETH gate. This is an effort by legacy banking type people to try to prevent the adoption of the crypto sector, right? They know it's happening. They've known this is happening for years. They've known this is happening long before Jimmy Valley and Valil ever stumbled into this space. Maybe not before you, though. They're doing what is, I guess, a natural thing to do, and it's try to defend their turf. One of the things we're really inspired by around the firm here is there's a book called The Investor's Dilemma, or The Innovator's Dilemma. And, it describes the very real phenomenon of, once you dominate a market with a certain product, basically everything, all of your investment activity or R&D is spent to try to further your domination of that market with respect to that product. But if there's another competitive thing that comes along, you can't move quick enough to basically adopt the new thing. And it's a very natural dilemma in business. It happens. It has happened to America Online. It has happened to all the major car manufacturing companies. It's happened to the airlines. It will continue to happen. This is the natural progression of markets and things. And this digital asset paradigm shift that we are going through right now. And we are still at the pretty early innings, but this is going to be such a profound change about the way we engage in the marketplace, the way we source goods and services, the way business deals, and I'm talking big business deals like M&A, securities offerings, all these types of things get done. It's all going to be running on these rails and plumbed by this technological infrastructure. It's going to change everything. It's going to be very hard for the legacy banking system to kind of do the old middleman, take a fee for moving a little money around, or providing someone with a loan, or providing someone access to the capital markets and taking mega fees for doing that. That's just not going to, over the long term, that's not going to be a successful business model. So they have to adapt.
Yeah, I think what you say about the dilemma is very interesting. I've heard in crypto, it's the founder's dilemma. Which, if you look at a project like Rarible NFT platform, they've had some innovation. It's moved forward a little bit, but I remember talking with one of the co-founders of it after it first launched, and they were like, "We made 30x on our investment. Like, what do we really care about doing going forward?" And so
Mhm.
for a long time, they weren't
Mhm.
really doing anything because there was not the incentive. Whereas you look with something like XRP, and you look at the incentive of the banks to make sure that they're using this value of network of value as opposed to the SWIFT, which is a network of information. The implications are huge financially, and so that's one reason why. Look, people don't like banks, but we don't like banks. We certainly don't like banks here on the channel. BB&T took my account because I had a crypto transaction, so we don't like them. But you got to understand, traditional finance is going to be around in some form or fashion for a long time, and you want to take advantage. You want to swim with the whales and things like that. So, if you guys want to check him out on Twitter, I believe Valhill Capital at Valhill Capital here. If you want to pop this up here real quick, Frank, we'll pop that on here. You guys can check him out here. But I want to go over this one tweet that was from James Rule, who was supposed to be on the show a couple weeks ago. We had a miscommunication. He's going to be on in the future. He said that basically you shared this chart that you made, the XRPV10, the price you believe XRP will be worth in 10 years at a 10% discount rate to arrive at net present value. Can you kind of explain what this chart is and how this has to do with the
Sure.
price and how people can interpret that?
Yeah, I really appreciate you doing that to your audience there, Ben. This is really, it was a response to a lot of people saying that oh, those values that get put out, maybe that's 5 years from now, maybe that's 10 years from now, and you say, okay, well, what is the present value of what this person believes? This person who's saying that. So we basically we use kind of a base 10 structure. We said, okay, let's start at $1, and then we'll go up to $10, then $100, 1,000, on and on. We just went up to 100,000 on this chart, and then we said, okay, now let's discount that back. Assume it's 10 years from now. We'll discount that back, and what would the value be today based on that? What would the PV10 be today? PV10 is in valuation in customary businesses. I spent a lot of time in the energy business and the oil and gas business. We talk about PV10 as kind of your base value of an asset, right? So the oil reservoir may flow for 20 years. What's the PV10 of all that value over 20 years, right? So what we're basically putting out that people to grasp a hold of, that if you think it's going to be, I don't know, $100 a coin in 10 years, then today it should be $38 and whatever it is, right? If even a dollar, it should be worth 39 cents today, and that's higher than the current market value of XRP. People need to start really appreciating, with respect to all assets. This isn't a comment about digital assets. The market price of something, the exchange rate, is not necessarily the value of the thing, right? And the opportunity for all of us is to buy potentially from those markets, but there are other markets, there are private markets as well, and acquire these assets because you believe the utility of the thing regardless of what the asset is, the utility of the thing is going to be worth the future. That's a good investment. If it's real estate and you say, I can pick up a single family home and I can rent it out and it'll cash flow and it's going to have some capital appreciation over 10 years and maybe I sell it in 10 years, you know, that could be and make a big gain. That's a good investment, you know, basic building block type financial analysis and valuation stuff. So this is just taking the XRP ledger and applying very traditional valuation, and just so happens that the last initial of XRP is P, so we could call it the XRP V10.
I like it. That's good stuff. Applying kind of traditional models towards crypto. I think that's really big, and really like your housing market example. I mean, because that's what people do. You know, they say, oh, I think in a certain amount of years, this area is going to grow to this this level. Now, if I get it for this price, it will probably be valued at this later on, and that's really the basis for a lot of investments. So that's some really good stuff. Well, James, your friends call you Jimmy, I think. Thanks for coming on the show. Definitely been definitely been very insightful. You guys make sure to go check out Valhalla Capital on Twitter. You guys can see the XRP V10 chart there. Anything you want to leave us with today?
You know, I think the most important thing that I want to leave your audience with today is that we are literally building the infrastructure of the modern financial system. And so, you know, it's a little bit of a red herring to be too focused on what the prices of things are today when that infrastructure is in the process of being built. So look at projects that you think are going to have a ton of utility 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and invest in those projects. You will do very, very, very well.
Absolutely amazing advice. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch you later. Love to have you back on down the road.
Thank you,
All
Ben.
right, thanks.
Take care.
Thanks. There's some really good guests on the show, man. Some smart people.
Yeah, that
Somebody
was
said
awesome.
this guy's good at lawyering. That was in the basement. They love those chats. Yeah, he's a smart guy, and I like that idea of, you know, and looking at something through a traditional kind of investment model and applying it to crypto. You know, as he was saying, they invest in oil and other types of things, and how that applies to crypto. I think that's really smart. So yeah, and guys, remember, I say this all the time. It took me 9 years to become a millionaire in crypto. Everybody thinks it happens overnight. It doesn't. Projecting out many years down the road, you're going to still have a lot of your life left 10 years from now. You're going to have a great chance to have a different life 10 years from now if you're really paying attention to this space and making the right move. So let's go ahead and move to quick hits. I'm just going to cover a couple stories. Harmony proposing minting 5 billion tokens to reimburse victims. People don't like that. NFT projects lost 22 million. Celsius files motion to enter an advisory agreement with a former CEO. The former CEO, Rod Bolger. FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, says he wants to give Voyager customers 100% of the lender's remaining assets. That would definitely be pretty good. You know, putting some pressure on them. Crypto wallet Ledger sells NFTs, becomes top OpenSea project. So there you go. You can get a Ledger. We got the link right at the top of the chat and in the description. Meta bumps prices of Quest 2 headsets. And lastly, UPenn's Wharton School rolls out online certificate course on businesses in the metaverse. A lot of education on the metaverse going out there right now, guys. All right, the Twitter, James Valley's Twitter address is at Valhalla Capital. You can see it right now. It's VALHIL Capital. And there you go. ValhillCapital.com as well. So you got some questions here?
Yes, I do just want to read a super chat that we missed from Chuck a Coin, another $5. A lot of super chats today. If I play Gala games, I do not want to get my stuff stolen. Could you please talk about setting up a Gala wallet and best practices for Ledger?
Well, what I would tell you on that is I don't play Gala games. Check out MetaMoney. MetaMoney is our metaverse channel. They've talked a lot about, they run a node for Gala games, I like to call it. They run a node, and you know, they have done a lot of content on MetaMoney about that. That would be where I would direct that question for. They're going to definitely be able to tell you a lot better than I can. Get Ripple or be rippled says, is Filecoin still a good buy? I think Filecoin is a good buy. I do believe storage coins are a good future. We got Cedric with super chats. It's love the way how you inform the community. Keep up the great work. P.S. Much love for Frankie Candles. Everybody loves Frank. You can't dislike Frank. You can't. It's not possible.
Thanks, guys.
Trust me, I tried. I tried to hate him so hard. Okay.
He came around. Ben came around. Okay, so we have a question from from Paul Albiston.
Okay.
Why did we not get an alt season? This was from before.
Meme coins. I honestly believe that. I think meme coins were the altcoin season. And it was unfortunate because, it was only a very select, kind of person that was getting in those. We've told you for a long time, meme coins are not great. And yet that's what everybody rushed into. And I think that really caused kind of a pre-altcoin season pump for those coins specifically. It became the new ICO. Just throw money into it and you'll make money overnight. And a lot of people got burned. And that's why I don't think we're going to see that same kind of thing in the next run. I definitely think that the meme coins really hurt the overall bull run of 2021.
Love it. And now we have, okay, this was another good one from Lawrence F. Do you think it's possible that crypto is moving towards a yearly cycle, or a yearly cycle like stocks?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, guys. Guys, you can't undersell or you can't oversell the Bitcoin halving. People, they want to come up with all these theories on all these different ways that the market works and blah, 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 blah. Fact is, the Bitcoin halving drives the Bitcoin price. It drives the Bitcoin network. It drives Bitcoin mining. It drives the security of the network. It drives everything. It causes the supply shock. Because of that, we're not going to, in my opinion, ever see a yearly cycle for Bitcoin. Now, you will see some things that seem to line up consistently, December, I think, has been a bad month for Bitcoin. Whatever the months are, September is the worst month for Bitcoin, I think, in general. We might see some similar things to that we can say, like, okay, generally every year we see these months do well, these months don't do well, but they're not going to be prescribed over the long term. I think over the long term, the 4-year cycle is where it's at. I think we're going to continue to see that. I just think we're going to see the volatility of those cycles come down over time. I do think we have a great chance to see the reversal of diminishing returns over this next cycle, but then we might see it return after that. I think we will see the diminishing returns kind of come and go. But overall, I think the 4-year cycle is definitely what to look at.
Beautiful. This one actually just came in from Chemistry Bro, and he says, Ben, could you add a segment where you pick about 5 to 10 BitSquad submitted portfolios and judge, rate / roast them?
I think that's good. I think that's good. Yeah, I think we might do something like that. So we got a lot of segments we're working on. I'm telling you, by the time this bull run comes on, this show is going to be much different. We got to just do kind of one segment at a time. We're not doing these same segments every single day. So we're slowly trying to work it into where it's a much more fun, interactive show. I mean, can you imagine this show more fun than it already is? I mean, that's phenomenal. I have a hard time thinking about that. But yeah, so I think that's a good idea. Maybe we'll introduce something like, we want to get the BitSquad more involved in the show. We're talking about some things. We're working on some things. It's a long process, guys, because we do hold such high esteem over what we do here and the quality of this channel. So we don't make just changes overnight just to do them. We think about them. We talk about them. We have meetings on them. But we definitely do believe that, that sounds like a good idea for a segment, I think.
Beautiful. I love it.
Do y'all still believe in the utility of AMP? I like AMP. I think it's good. It was listed as one of those 9 potential securities. Something to watch for. But yeah, we like AMP. I got nothing bad to say about it. All right, guys, make sure to smash the like button before you go out. That is all we got for today. Thank you, Frank, for filling in for TJ. Hopefully TJ's back tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe not. Make sure to check out Frankie Candles later tonight after Around the Blockchain at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all I got. Be blessed. Good boy out.